Welcome to Cheap Seat Sports, everybody, where, like just about everywhere else in the world now, it's 2022. And with that being the case, I wanted to do kind of like a channel update, year in review style video, as there's definitely been a lot of change with this channel over the last year. I kind of wanted to take a chance to talk about that. This is going to be a little bit of a different feeling video. I'm going to kind of try to do this in mostly one take. It might not quite get there. I'm not very good at the one take thing just yet. But we'll try and do our best for one take, and it's going to have a little bit of different feel from my usual quick cutting type of hard cut video. There you go. Already failed the one cut. But with this channel, it's changed a lot in the last year, and I definitely want to stop and just kind of go a little bit into that and thank everybody who's watched it, been a part of this growth over the last year, because it's definitely been a crazy one. In this last year, we've gained about 3,200 subscribers in just the last year, which I know for people who follow a lot of different YouTube channels, that doesn't necessarily sound like a lot. But at the start of the year, so this is, I guess, kind of to back up a little bit, this is almost now 2 years that I've been on YouTube. And in the first year, by the end of it, I kind of was using that to figure out what I was going to do with the channel, what people wanted to watch, and find that balance in there. And by the end of it, about a year ago, or exactly a year ago, there was less than 250 subscribers on the channel, which, I mean, I was perfectly happy with. I was just doing what I love. And so yeah, now to have over 32, or getting close to 3,200, or getting close to actually 3,500 now, it's definitely been a crazy journey and a lot of fun over this last year. So I wanted to thank everybody for their part in that. Just for me personally, well, 2021 has been a challenge in some of the same ways it has for everyone else. It's been a year with a lot of change as well. Obviously, most notably us having our first kid, which has been a crazy, exhausting, but incredibly rewarding journey so far. The channel, though, has also been one of the biggest things that I've had going on this last year, and all the time and effort I've put into it, trying to come up with videos and then actually executing those videos in a way that people would want to watch and come back to watch more of in the future. Again, at the start of this year, I didn't really know what this channel was going to be necessarily, but I could see over the first year of it that surprisingly, the videos that tended to get the most traction were the ones that had something to do with NHL Seattle or the Kraken, depending on when I made it, whether it was before or after them choosing the name the Kraken. At the beginning of the year, again, less than 250 subscribers, but I thought, what the heck, I'll take a chance on this Kraken thing and do a little bit more content related to that, and here we are, and I've pretty much never looked back. I mean, really the only not Kraken-specific content that I've done has still been NHL related, with the exception of, I think, just one video until this one, I guess. And as those of you who have been around the channel for a while know, that all started with the series going team by team through who I thought the Kraken would have available to them in the expansion draft and who I thought they could ultimately select. Obviously, there were a number of takes in those videos that didn't pan out for one reason or another, whether it was because those players got traded before the expansion draft, or they weren't protected or were protected in unexpected fashion, or the Kraken decided to go in a completely different direction for one reason or another, and whether or not that was advisable. And I wouldn't say that I was surprised that those videos did well, but I was caught off guard by how well they did, especially relative to the rest of the videos on the channel and some of the other stuff I had done in the past. And by the time I think June rolled around, where at the start of the year my goal had been to get to 1,000 subscribers by this point right now so that I could try to get monetized and all that good stuff, by June I was already there. So yeah, I think I could say that was a pretty big surprise that it had the amount of traction that it did end up having. And then came the expansion draft itself, and 2 days later, the entry draft, both of which I did live streams for, and to this day, those are still by far and away the most viewed things on this channel, and it's really not even close. As much as I was kind of hoping that things like the first Kraken game stream and stuff like that would maybe at least compete with them, what those videos were able to do, or I guess those streams were able to do, is still something that I have not figured out how to replicate, quite obviously, but still was an incredibly fun, wild ride as it was happening. Then, of course, after free agency, we finally do get a little bit of off-season, which was noticed in the channel view counts. Not that that's a huge surprise. obviously being focused on just one sport at this point. But eventually we do get into the first regular season for the Kraken, and starting the Kraken R&Rs, which I have to say was a game time decision whether or not I was going to do a video after every game or a video like once a week recapping all the stuff that had happened. Eventually, I decided to give the once per game thing a shot, see how it went for the first month or so, and then decide whether I wanted to keep going with it. And at this point, I will say that the views have definitely started to go down as the season has gone along. Again, I was kind of expecting that a little bit. The middle of the hockey season does tend to be one that people kind of tune out a little bit, especially when there's a team like the Kraken who, let's just say it's been a bit of a disappointing season as far as the win-loss record is concerned, and it's definitely noticeable that there are more views when the Kraken win versus when they lose, which just gives me a whole nother reason to hope they end up winning games and be frustrated when they lose them. Still though, I've had a lot of fun making those videos after every game, or maybe I should say after most of the games. There have been a loss here and there where I was not particularly excited to hit record afterwards, but I'd have kind of at this point taken it on as sort of a personal challenge to get through all 82 games of the season. And then next year, we'll see whether or not we do R&Rs again. At this point, I don't really see why not. I will say coming into the year, there was some nervousness about trying to do videos every game and how that was going to work, having a baby and recording late at night and then having to get up early in the morning to watch the baby. But so far, so good as far as I can tell. So yeah, there's definitely been some nights where I haven't quite had the energy, and that might come across in the videos, but you know, we make it work. And finally, as far as the videos that I've made are concerned, there's one other set of videos that I've made in the past that I wanted to talk a little bit more about, and that is the NHL 101 series, which has, at this point, been the most consistently viewed series of videos on my channel, and there are some days where it is clearly carrying the channel both in views and in subscribers and growing the channel. So it's definitely something that I want to be better about doing going forward and making those and continuing to have that a part of this channel, as I have seen a number of comments of people thanking me for helping them get into hockey, which again, there's a lot more that goes into that and I don't want to take full responsibility for it, but I can tell that those videos have been meaningful to people and I want to continue doing those. The trick has just been finding time with the R&Rs, which have clearly dominated the channel since the season started. That having been said, I do have a number of them researched, or at least a few of them researched, a number of them in backlog for ones that I want to do, ideas for videos, so I'm not short on ideas, though feel free to add some of those if you do have more. I do actually have a couple of them recorded and one that's close to being done editing, so that will be out here in the early part of January. And if you are someone that's been here mostly for those 101s, don't worry, they are going to start coming a little bit more frequently. I know I've said that a few times, and I said that I was hoping to have one a month, and that hasn't really happened since the start of the season in October, but that is going to be something that in this new year I make a much more concerted effort to do, and with February having a little bit of a break in the NHL season, I would expect a number of those to be happening in February. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but I could not be more incredibly grateful to all of you who have been a part of this channel so far and helping it grow, watching the videos, commenting on the videos, who I've been happy to interact with in those cases. But even if you don't comment, just watching them and being a part of this channel is something that I could, again, not be more grateful for, as this channel has already, in just a year of really having some consistent growth, allowed me to do some things that honestly, I really only dreamed of potentially doing in the past. Things like having a chance to be interviewed on different podcasts. Like, for example, I had a chance to be on the Lockdown Kraken podcast with Erica Lindsay Ayala, which was an incredibly fun experience, and hopefully there will be some more of that with other podcasts in the future. But also being at the first Kraken game against the Canucks. Obviously, they unfortunately ended up losing that, and it took me a while of going to games before I eventually got to see a win in person. But there was also that first game was the first NHL game I went to. And finally, probably the most exciting thing of this year is that it's given me a chance to actually view some games from the press box, which again is something I never expected to happen, much less also get to go to post-game press conferences and see what that side of the world is like. I've also had the chance to meet and become friends with a number of people that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Obviously, a number of you regulars in the comments, and also a few people, even in person, even with everything going on with the continued COVID issues around the world and all the lockdowns and limited amounts of meeting new people that has allowed. But guys like the Emerald City Hockey guys, RJ in particular, I haven't met Dylan yet, but I'm sure he's a cool guy as well, and I'm sure that'll happen in the future. Obviously, Eric Ayala, and a few of you in person at different events where I ran into you there and you recognized me, which I have to say, being recognized at random out in public is a bit of an interesting thing that I'm still getting used to. It hasn't happened a ton, but the few times it has happened, I'm kind of like, wow, really? Somebody, like, it's just a random channel on YouTube, but yeah, it's just another part of this channel that sees that I'm having some kind of impact on the community, and that's ultimately the biggest thing of all that I'm excited about to see where this channel goes, is just the community that we could potentially grow here and being a part of the Kraken community as a whole and trying to get that to be something we can be proud of in the future. And as far as what the future holds, obviously COVID willing, we still have 50 games left of the NHL season. Maybe not playoffs for the Kraken, but still 50 regular season games to do R&Rs for. Again, NHL 101 videos that I'm going to continue, or I should say maybe get back to making in a somewhat regular fashion, as well as some things that I have planned for the off-season, playoffs, and yeah, definitely some things that I'm excited about, and also some other not hockey-related videos that I've had backlogged since the start of the year when I started making them, that I still do want to get a chance to get to, as this channel originally was meant to be a little bit more of a all sports or Big Four North American sports related and not just hockey specific. Obviously, that's not where it's gone. It's become a hockey Kraken specific channel, but there's still some stuff that I would like to do, and I'll have a chance to do that probably not until the off season this summer. A couple other not video related things that I hope to have done by the start of 2023 in this next year would be getting things like a Patreon set up, getting YouTube members set up, and also getting a Discord going, which I said I was going to try to have by the start of the regular season, and obviously that hasn't happened. As I've gotten into looking how to get that set up, it's become clear that if I want to do it right, I have to take a little bit more time than just a random 15 minutes here and there. So I'm going to try to get that done in February again as part of that break, and get that going before the end of this season and certainly before the start of next one, as I know there's some of you who would like to have that as a place to have that community and hang out with each other and all that good stuff. So look for those things as well coming in this next year. And finally, I do want to give a special thank you to the Brendan and Jansen families for really being the spearhead of keeping this channel going and helping it grow into the future and helping it become what it's been to this point. Especially to my wife, who has been an incredible support through everything. And while there's again been some nerves over especially doing the R&Rs after every Kraken game, being supportive through everything that I've wanted to do with this channel and some of the things that I didn't expect to happen, but were able to. But at least for now, I'll stop rambling at you in a disorganized, hopefully not too terribly nonsensical way. And again, for one more time, for everything that happened with this channel in 2021 and even before it, thank you all very, very much for anybody that has watched, subscribed, liked, or commented on any video up until this point. Because of you, this channel is able to happen. Obviously, without any of you, I would still have 1, maybe 2 subscribers and maybe less than 10 views on any video that I've made. So this really has all happened because of you guys, and I can't wait to see where it potentially goes in the future. So one more time in this video, as always, if you have made it to this point, thank you very much for getting here. If you did like or enjoy this video, as always, there's buttons for that kind of stuff that help support this channel and keep it growing into the future. And until next time, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and go Kraken.